The small house stood alone at the edge of the town. It was old, made of stone, and often felt too quiet. Inside lived a man named Daniel. He was not young anymore, not old either, just somewhere in between. Daniel worked hard in the city during the day, but when he came home at night, the silence of the house pressed on him. He had grown tired of cooking the same meals again and again. Bread, soup, sometimes eggs. Nothing ever tasted good. So, one evening, he wrote a simple job ad. Wanted. Cook. No experience needed, just honest work. Meals and pay included. He pinned the paper to the notice board in the town market. He thought maybe some villager will come. Maybe a young boy. Maybe an old woman. Someone who wants a little money. He did not expect anything strange. For 2 days. No one came. He almost forgot about it. Then, on the third night, when rain tapped softly on the roof and the wind moved through the trees, someone knocked on his door. It was late. Too late for visitors. Daniel froze. The knock came again, louder this time. He lit a small lamp and opened the door just a little. What he saw made his heart beat fast. Standing outside was not a villager, not a traveler. It was a woman. At least she looked a little like one. Her skin was pale silver, glowing faintly in the night. Her hair was long and dark, falling over her shoulders. In her arms, she carried a small bundle, wrapped in cloth. Daniel's first thought, she is not human. Her eyes were larger than his, deep and shining like pools of light. She looked tired, scared, and wet from the rain. The bundle in her arms moved. A soft cry came from it. A baby. Daniel almost shut the door. His hand trembled, but the woman stepped forward, whispering in a voice soft and broken, "Please, help." Daniel stared. His lamp shook in his hand. He had seen aliens before, but never in his house, never so close. The city often spoke of them, sometimes with hate, sometimes with fear. They came from far worlds, some friendly, some not. But this one, she looked weak, desperate. He wanted to ask, "Why are you here?" But no words came. The baby cried again, louder this time. Daniel noticed something strange. The cloth glowed faintly, like small stars trapped inside it. He blinked, thinking his eyes were playing tricks, but no. The light came from the baby itself. He whispered, What are you carrying?" The woman hugged the child closer. "My son," she said. "Please, we need shelter." Daniel felt cold. This was not what he expected. He had asked for a cook, and here stood an alien mother with her glowing baby. Outside. The rain grew heavier. Thunder rolled across the sky. The woman shivered, water running down her silver skin. She looked as if she had been walking for miles, as if she had not eaten in days. Daniel's mind raced. If the neighbors saw, if the guards knew, there would be trouble. People did not welcome strangers like her. Some feared them, some hated them. Soldiers sometimes hunted them. He whispered harshly, "You should not be here." Her eyes filled with tears. "I had nowhere else, every door closed, you are the last. Please, I will work, I will cook, I will clean, just let my baby be safe." Her voice cracked at the last word. Safe. Daniel's chest tightened. He did not trust her. Not fully, but the baby's cries cut through him like a knife. It was too small, too fragile, glowing softly in the stormy night. He opened the door wider. "Come in, quickly." The woman stepped inside, moving carefully, as if afraid of breaking something. She kept the baby close to her chest. The lamplight revealed her face more clearly. She was beautiful in a strange, otherworldly way, but also exhausted. Her silver skin had marks, scratches, maybe from travel or attack. Daniel closed the door and locked it. The wind outside howled louder, almost angry. For a moment, silence filled the house again, except for the soft crying of the baby. Daniel stared at them. He wanted answers, but he did not know where to begin. "Who are you?" he asked at last. The woman's lips trembled. She looked at her child, then at Daniel. I am no one important, just a mother. But my baby. He is not ordinary. People are chasing us. They want him. If they find us, we will not live. Her words sent a chill down Daniel's spine. He had only wanted a cook. Instead, danger had walked through his door. The baby made a small sound, and for one brief second Daniel saw tiny sparks of light dance in the air around it, like fireflies but brighter. Then they vanished. Daniel stepped back. Fear grew in him, but also something else. Curiosity. What kind of child was this? Why would people hunt a baby? Before he could speak, a new sound came. From outside. Boots. Heavy, slow, moving on wet ground. Someone was out there, searching. Daniel's lamp flickered. His heart pounded. The woman hugged her child tighter, her eyes wide with fear. The knock came again. Louder. This time it was not gentle. Someone shouted. Through the door. Open. We are looking for a stranger. Have you seen her? Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The story had just begun. Asterisk. The knocking at the door grew louder. Open, the voice barked. We know she came this way. Daniel's hands felt cold. His lamp shook as shadows danced across the walls. He turned to the silver-skinned woman holding her glowing child. Her eyes begged him without words. Don't open it. He swallowed hard. His mind screamed at him to push her out, to save himself, but his heart would not let him. The baby whimpered, its faint light glowing through the cloth. Daniel whispered, Hide! Quickly! The woman rushed to the corner of the room, crouching low behind the old cupboard. She wrapped her arms around her child, making herself small, as if trying to vanish. Daniel blew out the lamp and opened the door just a crack. 3 men stood outside. They wore dark coats dripping with rain and carried weapons. Their boots splashed in the mud. One of them leaned forward, his sharp eyes searching Daniel's face. We're hunting someone, the man said. An alien female. She carries an infant. You haven't seen her, have you? Daniel forced his voice to stay calm. It's late. I haven't seen anyone. The man narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe easily. He stepped closer, peering past Daniel into the shadows of the house. Mind if we come in? Just a look. Daniel's heart pounded. He gripped the door tightly. There's nothing here, just me, alone. For a long moment, silence stretched. Rain fell harder, thunder rolled. Then finally the man smirked. Fine, but if you see her, report it. That child is dangerous. He spat on the ground, then turned away. The other 2 followed, their boots echoing on the wet road. Slowly, their shapes disappeared into the storm. Daniel shut the door quickly, locking it. He leaned against it, breathing fast. His shirt clung to his skin with sweat. From the corner, the woman rose. Her steps were quiet, cautious. She hugged her baby close, her silver eyes shining in the dim light. You saved us, she whispered. Daniel shook his head. No, I only delayed them. They'll be back. The baby made a soft sound, almost like a sigh. For a second, Daniel felt warmth in the air, a strange comfort, as if the child's presence pushed away the fear. Daniel sat down, rubbing his face with his hands. Why are they after you? What is that child? The woman hesitated. Her lips trembled. Her voice, Oh, I cannot tell you everything, not yet, but I beg you. Please, I need shelter even for one night. My baby is weak and I am tired. We have nowhere else. Her words cut into him. She looked fragile, not like a threat, just a mother clinging to her child. Daniel wanted to refuse. He wanted to say, This is not my problem. But the image of the baby glowing in the dark, hunted by armed men, burned in his mind. Sit, he said at last, by the fire. Warm yourself. She moved carefully, almost shy, and sat on the old rug near the fireplace. Daniel lit the flame. Orange light filled the room, chasing away the shadows. The baby stirred, its small face showing for the first time. Daniel gasped. The child's skin glimmered softly like starlight. Its eyes opened, bright, clear, and full of light. Not normal eyes, but something beyond human. He whispered. That's no ordinary child. The woman nodded. Tears slid down her silver cheeks. Yes, he is different. That is why they hunt us. They fear him. They want to use him. Her voice shook. She looked at Daniel with pleading eyes. I only want him to live, to grow, to be free. Daniel stared at the flames. He remembered the men outside, their cold eyes, their guns. He remembered how they had said, "That child is dangerous. Dangerous." He looked again at the infant. It was small, fragile, glowing softly like a candle, in the dark. How could something so innocent be dangerous? Still, his chest felt heavy. If he kept them, trouble would come. Soldiers, hunters, maybe worse. His quiet life would be gone. He leaned forward. You should run. Keep moving. Don't stay here. If they search again, I cannot stop them. Her eyes filled with fear. I cannot. My legs will not carry me farther. I have walked for days without rest. If I go now, I will fall, and then they will take him. Her voice broke. Please, human. One night. Just one night of safety. Then we will leave. Daniel's jaw tightened. He had wanted a cook. Instead, fate had placed this choice before him, between safety and compassion. The baby reached out a tiny hand toward Daniel. For a moment, its glowing fingers touched his skin. Warmth spread through him, soft but powerful, like hope. Daniel's heart softened. He sighed deeply. All right. One night. No more. The woman bowed her head. Thank you. But even as he spoke, Daniel knew it would not be simple. Already the sound of boots echoed in his memory. Already the storm outside felt heavier, as if the world itself pressed against his walls. The baby yawned, light flickering softly across the room. The mother hummed a strange tune, low and gentle to calm him. Daniel sat by the fire watching them. He tried to tell himself this was only for one night, but deep down, he knew the truth. This was only the beginning. Asterisk. The fire burned low, its light dancing on the walls. Daniel sat in his chair, his eyes fixed on the alien woman and her child. She had fallen asleep on the rug, her head resting against the cupboard, the baby still glowing faintly in her arms. For the first time since she had entered his house, the room was quiet. But Daniel's mind was not quiet. He kept hearing the words of the hunters. That child is dangerous. He remembered the sharp look in their eyes, the way they gripped their weapons. They would not stop searching. They would return. He rose and checked the lock on the door twice. Then he walked to the small window, pushing the curtain aside just enough to see the dark road outside. Rain poured in silver streams, blurring everything. But he thought he saw movement, shadows shifting near the trees. Daniel's chest tightened. They were still out there, watching, waiting. He turned back to the sleeping woman. She looked peaceful now, but her silver skin showed deep scratches. Her clothes were torn from travel. The child in her arms gave a small sigh, and for a moment, tiny sparks of light floated above it like fireflies. Daniel's breath caught. He stepped closer, whispering, "What are you, little one?" The sparks faded quickly, but the sight stayed in his mind. This was no ordinary child. No wonder men with guns wanted it. The woman stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, catching the faint glow of the fire. When she saw Daniel standing so close, she held the baby tighter. You saw, she whispered. Daniel nodded. I saw enough. That child, it's not human. What makes him so special? Why are they after him? Her lips trembled. She looked down at her son, brushing a finger over his cheek. Because he carries something they fear. His blood, his light, it is power. Too much power for a child. They want to use him, to turn him into a weapon. Daniel felt a chill run through him. A weapon? They were talking about a baby, so small it could barely open its eyes. He whispered, "Is it true? Could he be dangerous?" The woman's eyes filled with tears. "He is innocent. He knows nothing of war, nothing of cruelty. But yes, one day, if twisted, he could be dangerous. That is why I must protect him. That is why I cannot let them take him." Daniel sat down heavily. He rubbed his face with both hands. His quiet life had shattered in a single night. He had asked for a cook, but fate had sent him a fugitive mother carrying a child that could shake worlds. From outside, thunder cracked again. The sound made the woman flinch. She whispered, "They will come back, they never stop." Daniel frowned. "Then why come here? Why not keep running?" Her voice broke. "Because I am weak. My legs cannot go farther. My food is gone. My child is hungry. I thought, maybe here I could find mercy." Her words struck deep into him. Mercy. It was such a simple word, yet heavy. He looked at her again, not as a stranger, not as an alien, but as a mother. A mother who wanted only to keep her child safe. Before he could answer, a sound outside made them both freeze. The crunch of boots. Slow, steady, coming closer. Daniel's blood ran cold. He rushed to the window and peeked. Through the curtain, he saw them, 3 figures in the rain, lanterns in their hands, weapons slung across their shoulders. They were searching house by house, and now they stood in front of his gate. "They've come back," Daniel whispered. The woman's eyes widened with fear. She held the baby close, rocking him to keep him quiet. But the child began to glow, brighter, sensing the danger. "Stop him," Daniel hissed. She tried to hush the baby, whispering in her alien tongue, but the glow only grew, soft rays of light spilling through the cloth. The men outside stopped. One of them raised his lantern. The beam swept across Daniel's window. "They know," the woman whispered, her voice breaking. Daniel's heart raced. He looked around his small house, no hiding place strong enough, no door thick enough to stop bullets. He clenched his fists. "If they find you here, they'll kill us all." The baby gave a small cry, the glow pulsing with the sound. Daniel grabbed a blanket and threw it over them, dimming the light. "Stay quiet," he ordered. The knock came. Hard, violent. "Open up," a voice barked. "We have reason to search your home." Daniel froze. His mind spun. If he opened, they would see. If he refused, they would break the door. Either way, the secret would be out. He looked at the mother. Her eyes were full of terror, but also trust. She was trusting him, a stranger, with her life. Daniel's throat felt dry. He had never wanted to be a hero. He had never wanted danger. But tonight, choice had come knocking. The baby stirred again, a faint hum rising from its tiny chest. The air in the room shifted, warm and alive, like energy waiting to burst. Daniel stepped back, shocked. "What is he doing?" he whispered. The woman shook her head. "He is afraid. His power reacts to fear. If they force their way in..." She did not finish. She didn't need to. Daniel understood. If the hunters entered, the baby's power could unleash, wild, uncontrolled, dangerous. The knocking grew louder, shaking the door. Last warning. Daniel's heart hammered. He stood between the fire and the door, his hand hovering over the lock. If he let them in, the child's secret would be revealed. If he resisted, he risked his life. The fire cracked. The baby's glow leaked through the blanket. The woman's eyes begged him silently. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his decision was made. He whispered. I will not let them take you. Asterisk. The pounding on the door shook the small house again. Open now, a harsh voice demanded. By order of the guard. Daniel stood frozen, one hand pressed against the door, the other clenched by his side. Behind him, the alien mother held her glowing child, rocking him desperately to keep him calm. Her silver eyes never left Daniel's face. She was waiting for his choice. His whole life, Daniel had avoided trouble. He was just an ordinary man. He went to work, came home, cooked, simple meals. He did not fight, he did not resist, he had never stood against anyone. But now fate had cornered him. Another bang rattled the wood. The men outside were ready to break in. Daniel turned his head slightly. The mother whispered, trembling, Please, do not let them take him. The baby stirred. The blanket covering him glowed faintly, light pushing through like tiny stars trying to escape. Daniel's stomach knotted. If the guard saw that, it would all be over. He sucked in a sharp breath, then shouted toward the door. Go away. There's nothing here. For a moment, silence, then a laugh, cruel and sharp. Nothing? Then you won't mind if we check. The handle shook violently. The wood cracked. Daniel knew the door wouldn't hold much longer. His heart pounded. He turned to the woman. Downstairs. Quickly. She blinked, confused. Downstairs? Daniel rushed to the corner of the room, pulling up a loose board. Beneath it, a small hidden cellar appeared. It was where he usually stored potatoes in old jars, but now it would have to be something else. Go, he whispered. Hide there. I'll handle them. The woman hesitated, clutching her baby. But one look at Daniel's face told her she had no choice. She lowered herself into the dark space, curling around her child to shield him. Daniel covered the cellar with the board, pushing the rug back over it just as the door burst open. 3 guards stormed inside, water dripping from their coats. Their boots thudded against the floor. Lantern light swept across the room, filling every shadow. The leader, tall with sharp eyes, glared at Daniel. Where is she? Daniel forced himself to stay calm. She's not here. The man's lip curled. He walked closer, his lantern shining into Daniel's face. You lie. We tracked her to this street. Someone said she came this way. Daniel shrugged. Maybe she passed, but I haven't seen her. The guard's eyes narrowed. He stepped past Daniel, scanning the small house. His men spread out, opening cupboards, kicking at chairs, lifting blankets. Daniel's stomach twisted with fear. Any second, they might notice the hidden cellar. The leader leaned close. You think protecting her will save you? That child is not a blessing. It is a curse. If you knew the truth, you would hand it over. Yourself. Daniel's throat tightened. He wanted to demand answers, but he stayed silent. The guard smirked. I see it in your eyes. You've already met her. Daniel's fists clenched, but he forced himself to keep steady. Leave my house. The guard tilted his head, amused. Or what, you'll stop us? One of the men kicked at the rug near the cellar. Daniel's heart leapt into his throat. The baby gave a faint whimper below, muffled by the boards. The sound was small, but Daniel heard it. He prayed the guards had not. The man frowned, crouching to listen. Daniel acted fast. He stepped forward, slamming his boot on the floorboards. The loud stomp echoed through the room. Rats, he said quickly. The cellar is full of them. Don't bother. The guard wrinkled his nose and stepped back. Filthy place, he muttered. The leader studied Daniel for a long, tense moment. Finally, he spat on the floor. If you're lying, it'll cost you your life. He turned sharply. We searched the next house. The guards marched out into the storm. The door slammed shut behind them. Daniel waited, listening until the sound of boots faded into the rain. His hands shook as he dropped to his knees, pulling the rug back. He lifted the board. The woman crawled out, holding her child close. Her face was pale, her silver eyes wide with fear. "You risked yourself," she whispered. Daniel shook his head. "No, I made a choice." The baby stirred, glowing softly in her arms. Daniel stared at the tiny sparks that rose and faded like dust of stars. He remembered the guard's words, "That child is a curse." But as he watched the baby reach a small glowing hand toward its mother's face, Daniel felt no curse. He felt something else: innocence, purity, life. He sighed. "Maybe the world sees danger, but I see only a child." Tears welled in the woman's eyes. She bowed her head. "You are human, yet kinder than many of my own people." Daniel sat heavily in his chair, rubbing his temples. "If they keep hunting you, you can't stay here. They'll search again. They won't stop." The woman nodded. "I know. Tomorrow we must leave." Her words tightened Daniel's chest. He wanted peace, a quiet life, but now he was tangled in something far greater. Still, as he looked at the mother and her glowing baby, he felt something stir inside him. Something he had not felt in years. Purpose. He whispered to himself, almost too quiet to hear. If humanity means anything, it means protecting those who cannot protect themselves. The fire crackled, the baby yawned, and the storm outside raged on Daniel knew one thing now. He had chosen and there was no turning back. The storm had passed by morning, but the danger had not. Daniel stood at the window watching the street below. Soldiers moved in groups, their boots heavy, their eyes sharp. They checked every house, speaking to neighbors, pointing toward the forest beyond the town. The search was not over. It was growing. Behind him, the alien mother fed her glowing child with the last bit of food Daniel had. Her silver eyes looked tired, her movements slow. She was strong, but even Daniel could see the weight of fear pressing on her shoulders. "They will come again," Daniel said quietly. "If you stay, they will find you." She nodded, holding her baby closer. "I know. We cannot remain here. We must go." Daniel turned, frowning. "Go where?" "The town is surrounded. The soldiers block every road." Her voice was soft but firm. "Then not by road, by the forest. If we move before night, we can slip past their patrols. I can guide us. I know paths they do not." Daniel's heart tightened. He had lived near those woods all his life, but even he avoided them. Dark, thick, full of twisting trails where people often got lost. But compared to soldiers with guns, maybe the forest was safer. Still, he asked, "If they catch us there?" She met his eyes. "Then we will fight, or we will die. But better that than chains." Her words struck deep. She spoke with the quiet strength of a mother who had nothing left to lose. Daniel looked at the child. Its tiny face glowed faintly, innocent and unaware of the danger closing in. Daniel exhaled slowly. "Then tonight, we go." The day dragged, slowly. Daniel packed what little he could: bread, dried meat, a flask of water. He found an old hunting knife and tucked it into his belt. The woman prepared a sling to carry her baby close to her chest, wrapping him carefully to hide the glow. As the sun set, the soldiers lit torches in the streets. Their voices carried through the town, sharp commands in the night air. Daniel whispered, "It's time." The woman pulled up her hood. Her silver face vanished into shadow. She clutched her baby tight and followed Daniel to the back door. They slipped into the alley, moving low and quiet. Every step felt heavy, every sound too loud. Daniel's heart pounded as they passed a patrol. Two soldiers laughed, leaning against a wall, their torches flickering. Daniel held his breath, waiting for them to turn, but they never looked their way. Step by step, they reached the edge of town. Before them, the dark wall of the forest waited. Trees rose tall, their branches twisted like claws. The night air smelled of earth and damp leaves. Daniel hesitated. "Once we go in, there's no turning back." The mother's voice was steady. "Then let us not turn back." They entered. The forest swallowed them whole. The trees blocked the moonlight, leaving only shadows. Daniel led the way along a narrow path he half remembered, his knife ready in his hand. Behind him, the mother walked lightly, her child pressed against her chest. Every snap of a twig made Daniel flinch. Every rustle of leaves sounded like footsteps. He kept glancing behind, expecting soldiers to appear with torches. After an hour, his legs ached. His breath came heavy. He wanted to stop, but the woman never slowed. She moved like someone who had walked too far to ever rest. At last, they paused near a stream, the sound of water masking their breaths. Daniel bent to drink, his hands shaking. The woman sat against a tree, rocking her baby gently. For a brief moment, the forest felt peaceful. Crickets sang, the stream bubbled softly. Daniel almost believed they had escaped. Then the baby cried. It was a small sound, but in the silence of the woods it carried like a bell. The glow beneath the cloth brightened, leaking through the fabric. "Quiet him," Daniel hissed, panic rising. The woman tried, whispering a lullaby in her strange tongue, but the glow only pulsed brighter. And then, from far off, came the sound Daniel feared most. Shouts. Men's voices, the crunch of boots. "They've found us," he whispered. The woman's eyes filled with dread. "We must move now." They stumbled through the trees, their steps frantic. Branches clawed at them, roots tripped their feet. The baby's glow flickered, sometimes dim, sometimes too bright. Behind them, torches flared in the distance. The hunters were close. Daniel's chest burned. His legs screamed, but he pushed forward, forcing himself to keep moving. He could hear the men shouting to one another, their voices cutting through the night. At last, they reached a rocky slope. Daniel climbed first, pulling himself up by roots and stones. He reached down to help the mother, dragging her upward as she clutched her child. But at the top, his heart froze. A figure stepped from the shadows, a soldier, torch in hand, gun raised. "Well, well," the man sneered. "The rat brings gifts." The woman gasped, holding her baby tighter. Daniel's hand went to his knife, his breath heavy. Behind them, the shouts grew louder. More soldiers were coming. They were trapped. The baby stirred, its glow brightening. The air hummed faintly, strange and alive. The soldier's smile faded as the light touched his face. For the first time, Daniel saw fear in the eyes of a hunter. The child's power was waking. The soldier at the top of the slope raised his gun, the torchlight flickering across his face. His smile was thin and cruel. "Hand her over," he ordered. "Both of them. Do it now and maybe I'll let you live." Daniel's chest tightened. Behind him, the alien mother clung to her glowing child. The baby's light pulsed brighter, humming in the still night air. The soldier frowned. He tightened his grip on the gun. "What is that thing doing?" Daniel's mind raced. He had no plan, no way out. More voices rose from the forest below. Torches bobbed through the trees, more soldiers climbing closer every second. They were trapped between the slope and the hunters. Daniel drew his knife. His hand shook, but his voice was steady. "You'll have to kill me first." The soldier laughed. Gladly. The gun lifted. Before Daniel could move, the baby cried out. The glow burst like a wave, flooding the slope with blinding light. Sparks of energy rippled through the air, crackling like fire. The soldier stumbled back, raising his arm to shield his eyes. What is this?" he shouted. The earth trembled under their feet. The trees bent as if pushed by invisible wind. The baby's power filled the night, raw and untamed. The mother whispered frantically, rocking her child. "Shh, my star, calm." But the baby's fear was too strong. The light grew, fierce and wild. Daniel's hair stood on end. His knife felt useless now. He had never seen power like this, beautiful and terrifying at once. The soldier tried to aim again, but the ground shook violently. His shot fired into the trees, sparks flying. Daniel charged forward, slamming his shoulder into the man. The gun flew from his hands, clattering on the rocks. The two men grappled. The soldier swung a fist, striking Daniel across the jaw. Pain exploded in his head. He staggered, but he did not fall. He roared and drove the knife forward, slashing across the soldier's arm. The man howled in pain, stumbling back. Torches closed in. Shouts filled the forest. More soldiers were almost upon them. The mother cried, "Daniel, they come!" Daniel spun, grabbing the fallen gun. He had never fired one before, but his hands found the trigger. He raised it, pointing down, the slope. The first soldier through the trees froze, wide-eyed at the sight of Daniel aiming at him. Daniel's finger squeezed the trigger. The blast echoed through the woods. The man fell. The others shouted in rage. Gunfire cracked, bullets tearing through branches. Splinters flew. The mother crouched low, shielding her baby. Daniel fired again, wild and desperate. Another soldier dropped, but there were too many. The glow from the child pulsed stronger, flaring with each shot. The air shimmered like heat, bending and warping. One bullet flew past Daniel's ear. Another slammed into the rocks near the mother. She cried out, her arms trembling as she shielded her child. Daniel's heart pounded. They could not win. Not like this. He turned to her. His power. Can he control it? Tears streaked her silver face. He is too young. It is only fear. Fear makes it grow wild. The ground shook harder. Trees creaked, some snapping as the energy spread. A soldier screamed, as sparks exploded near him, throwing him backward. Daniel made his choice. He dropped the gun, grabbed the mother's arm, and pulled her to her feet. Then we use it, run while they're afraid. She hesitated, but his grip was firm. Together they climbed over the slope, the baby's glow lighting their path like a star. Soldiers shouted behind them, some too afraid to follow, others firing blindly into the night. Daniel dragged her through the trees, branches whipping his face. The baby's light flared again, and the forest itself seemed to bend aside. Leaves swirled in glowing spirals. Rocks split under the energy. A soldier tried to cut them off, but as he raised his weapon, a blast of light knocked him to the ground, unconscious. Daniel's legs burned, his lungs screamed, but he kept going, pulling the mother behind him, shielding her when bullets flew. At last, they broke through the trees into a small clearing. The moon shone above, pale and distant. Daniel stopped, gasping for air. The mother sank to her knees, clutching her baby, rocking him gently. Slowly, the glow dimmed. The child's cries softened. The forest grew still again. Daniel dropped beside them, chest heaving. He looked back at the dark trees. Torches flickered in the distance, but none dared come closer. Not after what they had seen. The mother whispered, her voice raw. You saved us. Daniel shook his head. No, he saved us. He looked at the baby, small and innocent in her arms. But they won't stop. They'll never stop. Her eyes met his, shining with fear and sorrow. Then we must keep moving, until the galaxy is too wide for them to find us. Daniel clenched his fists. He had fought tonight, something he had never imagined himself doing. He had felt death close, smelled blood, heard bullets sing past his ear. Yet somehow they had survived. He looked at the mother, at the child, at the soft, fading glow. His voice was steady, firm. Then I'll go with you. Her lips parted in surprise. You would leave your home? Daniel nodded. I cannot let them take him. Not while I still breathe. Humanity isn't just about survival. It's about choice. And I choose to stand with you. The forest whispered in the night wind. The child gave a soft sigh, and for a moment Daniel thought the faintest smile crossed the baby's face. But the distant shouts reminded him the hunt was not over. The enemy would return. The final fight was still ahead. The clearing was silent now, but Daniel knew it would not last. The soldiers had seen the child's power. They would return, stronger, angrier, with more men and bigger weapons. The hunt had only just begun. Daniel's body ached from the fight, his jaw bruised, his arms heavy. Still, when he looked at the mother and her baby, he felt something stronger than fear. A fire burned inside him, something he had not felt in years. Purpose. The mother cradled her son, humming softly to calm him. His glow had dimmed, fading back to a gentle shimmer. In the moonlight, he looked almost human, just a small child, tired from crying. Daniel knelt beside them. "They'll be back," he said. "Not just soldiers. If what you say is true, they'll send armies. They'll never stop." Her silver eyes shone with sorrow. "I know. I have run from them across stars, across worlds. They believe my son will grow into a weapon. They will hunt until he is theirs, or until he is dead." Daniel clenched his fists. He thought of the guards spitting words like curse, of their guns pointed at a baby. He thought of the quiet life he once had. Safe, simple, empty. That life was gone now. He looked at her firmly. "Then we don't run forever. We make a stand. Somewhere, somehow. Humanity isn't just about surviving in silence. It's about protecting what matters." The mother blinked, surprised by his conviction. "You would fight for us? For a child? Who is not even your kind?" Daniel nodded without hesitation. "Because it doesn't matter if he's human. He's a child. He deserves to grow, to laugh, to live. If your people abandoned you, then let me show you what humanity means. Humanity means we protect the weak, even when the weak are not our own." For a moment, her eyes filled with tears. She bowed her head. "Then perhaps there is hope still." The night grew colder. Daniel built a small fire in the clearing, careful to keep it low. The baby slept at last, wrapped in the woman's arms, glowing faintly like an ember in the dark. Daniel sat near them, knife in hand, watching the shadows of the forest. His mind raced. He was only one man. How could he protect them from soldiers, from governments, from the galaxy itself? But then he remembered the way the soldiers had fled, afraid of the baby's light. That power, though dangerous, was also their shield. If it could be guided, controlled, it could keep them safe. He turned to her quietly. "He'll need training. One day, won't he? To control this?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. Without it, his power will destroy him, or everything around him. But he is only an infant. His journey is long." Daniel stared into the fire. "Then we keep him safe until he's ready, no matter the cost." The forest whispered with night winds, carrying the smell of rain and earth. Far away, the faint echo of horns sounded, soldiers calling to each other. The hunt was already spreading. The mother tightened her grip on her child. Fear filled her silver eyes again. "They will not stop." Daniel's voice was steady. "Then neither will we." As dawn broke, the forest lit with pale gold. Mist curled between the trees. Daniel rose, stretching his sore body. He looked at the road beyond the woods, leading into the unknown. He had never left his town. He had never wanted to. But now the world felt wider, bigger, dangerous, but also alive with possibility. The mother stood, her child close against her chest. Her hood shadowed her face, but Daniel saw the spark of determination in her eyes. "Where will we go?" she asked softly. Daniel tightened the strap of his bag. "Somewhere they cannot reach, maybe across mountains, maybe across seas. But wherever it is, you won't go alone." She studied him for a moment. "Why?" "You could walk away. You owe us nothing." Daniel shook his head. "No. Humanity is not about owing. It's about choosing. And I choose to stand with you." The baby stirred, his small glowing hand slipping free from the cloth. It touched Daniel's wrist. A warmth spread through him, deeper than before, like a promise. Daniel smiled faintly. "Besides, I asked for a cook. Instead, I found a family." For the first time, the woman laughed softly. It was tired but real. "A strange family," she said. "Maybe the best kind," Daniel replied. They stepped onto the path as the sun rose higher. Behind them, smoke rose from the town. Soldiers searched house by house, but Daniel did not look back. His life there was gone. Ahead lay danger, yes, but also a new beginning. The mother walked beside him, her child glowing faintly against her chest. Daniel carried the knife at his belt and a fire in his heart. They were hunted, but they were not helpless. Together they would run, they would fight, they would survive. And one day, when the child was grown, when his power was no longer fear but strength, perhaps the galaxy would learn a truth: that humanity was not just about blood or race. It was about the choices one made. And Daniel had chosen to protect life, even when it was alien. The road stretched long before them, unknown and dangerous. But Daniel walked with steady steps, the mother beside him, the child's glow lighting their way. The hunt was far from over. The enemy would come again. But Daniel whispered to himself with quiet, unshakable resolve, "You are not alone anymore.